Okay. Some primary schools' early education reading programs encourage children to read by paying them for each book they read outside of class. Okay. So some schools do that, they pay them. That's kind of interesting. Such programs should be viewed with suspicion. That sounds like the conclusion. Why should they be viewed with suspicion? While paying kids to read might get them to read more, it might also teach them to regard reading as a chore rather than as a source of intrinsic satisfaction. Is that bad?
I don't think we want kids to think of reading as a chore.
Okay, where does it say that? What if the next premise said, the greatest thing on earth is to think of your work as a chore? Then we'd be like, well, it's good that this method is encouraging them to think of it as a chore, right? Like, we're assuming that this is a bad thing, that thinking of it as a chore is a bad thing, so this argument's not good, right? They're actually playing into commonly held assumptions and hoping you just kind of accept that. So, I would say, yeah, if chores is bad, then this program should be viewed with suspicion because it's leading to children to think of reading as a chore. But I don't know if that's a bad thing. And if it's not a bad thing, then this could actually be a very good thing, right? So we always have to play devil's advocate. We have to be the other side unless they've proven it. So which one of the following principles, if valid, most strongly supports the editorial's reasoning? What type of question is this? Strengthen. Yeah. So we're going to strengthen the conclusion, which means I want something that says chores is bad. That would be my prediction. A, early education reading programs should focus more on getting children to read challenging books than on getting them to read a large number of books. I have no idea how that has to do with chores or whether this is good or bad. It's just quantity versus quality maybe. But children will be more likely to develop into regular readers if they choose the books they read than if they do not. We have no idea whether they're choosing them or not. Parents will usually play a more important role than teachers in instilling in children a love of reading. Okay, I'm glad that they play that role, but what about this program? Doesn't say anything about that. D, the goal of early education reading programs should be to instill in children a love of reading. This is not, I was looking more for like a source of intrinsic satisfaction. I guess that's kind of similar. I don't know, I mean, this kind of talks about what we were talking about, right? It doesn't talk about the chore stuff, but it does say, hey, it's good to try to encourage a love of reading. That's a little different than intrinsic satisfaction, maybe? So I'm going to keep going. E, improving children's facility with reading will get them to enjoy reading. That probably actually weakens the argument because it's like, oh, they're reading more. That makes them better at reading, and if they get better, then they're going to enjoy it more. Okay, well... then maybe this program should not be viewed with suspicion. So I think the best answer here, although it doesn't use the exact same language, is D. Because if the goal is to instill a love of reading, then you shouldn't do things that make them think of it as a chore. I'd prefer something that had like closer language, like the goal is to see it as a source of intrinsic satisfaction. That would be even better, but this still works. Yeah.
Can you explain what you just said about weakening again from E?
Oh, well, improving children's facility with reading will get them to enjoy reading. If that's true, if helping children get better at reading will help them enjoy reading, then this program, which is encouraging people, what it says, while paying kids to read might get them to read more. I am making an assumption with you. I'm assuming that if you read more, you're going to get better at it. But it sounds like the program is getting them to read more. And if it is, and that helps you get better at reading, then what E says is that eventually that will also get you to enjoy it. So that makes it seem to me like this program could be successful and even be like getting them to like it. I don't know that it weakens it that much, but even if it doesn't weaken it that much, it's not strengthening, or there's some uncertainty here, right? Like it's like, oh, well, this could be good or bad. Right. Whereas D, it's like, no, the goal is to help you. So D is better than E for sure. Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, we'll put better.
Better. Okay. Did you pick E?
I did. I got hung up on facility for some reason.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
It's a
was-
weird way of saying better at reading, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
then I also skipped love. It was like too strong, and I missed that it was the most strongly support. And then when I went over my answers, I was like, oh, duh, should have chose D.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the exact same wording, but it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Any other questions on this one?
I have one.
Yeah.
I came up with the same prediction that you did. I was looking for something that would connect chores or paying the kids with reading. And when I didn't find it, I guess I just kind of panicked.
Okay.
And then I struggle with the logic when I can't match my prediction.
So one thing so two things here. One, your prediction could be a little bit better because it's not just, there's two elements to these premises, right? Or this premise. It's like, it's going to make it seem like a chore rather than a source of intrinsic satisfaction. So addressing either one of those things would strengthen this argument. But the second thing is, even when you make a prediction, it's not uncommon, and even to this day, it's not like I predict the correct answer. How is it? I don't know, maybe only 60% of the time. Like, it's more, by going through the process of predicting, it's forcing you to make sure that you have your mind wrapped around the argument and the conclusion to some degree, right? And when I go into the answer choices, although I have a prediction, I'm also just thinking, okay, well, this is a strengthened question. Does this help my conclusion? So you want to be a little bit open-minded. So even when you come across an answer that may not be your prediction, you could be like, okay, yeah, but does that help? Nah, it might, so I'll keep that open. And then keep going. And then you might see your prediction and be like, oh, yeah, but this is better. But maybe you don't. And then you're like, well, I still have that other one, and that does strengthen a little bit, so I'll keep that. Yeah. Okay.